So let's focus on one of these things. I'll press Control Space again. And this looks like a great candidate once again for creating a polygon plane, shaping it the way we want, and then adding a solidify modifier. And as it turns out, yes, this one over here on this side is wider or longer than the one over here on this side. So I don't think I'll make them all that much different. I think maybe we can just kind of extend this one out a little wider than this one. But let's focus on this here. And also, we're going to have to create this kind of cubical tube here. It looks like it's kind of, well, let's see if we can find another image of this. Maybe let's take a look here. And yeah, so this is what we're after. I don't know that I'm going to worry about these things connecting it. I think I'm just going to create the tube right here and then attach this part onto it. So let's give this a try. Let's go ahead and create that cube first. Maybe I will select the cab and let's just maybe select this edge and move the cursor to it with Shift S2. And then from here, I'll go ahead and make sure that scene collection is still selected. And let's create a cube right here. I'll scale it down quite a bit. And let's move it over till it's about in the right place. It looks like it's going to have to angle a bit since the side of the cab is kind of leaning in here. But let's go to the side view and rotate it a bit and try and get it so it's kind of in line with this particular angle right there. Now let's change to our local transform orientation with the comma key and choose local. And now we can press S and Z and scale out in the Z along that angle. Let's give it a little bit more and move it up some. So it looks like it goes above the window a bit, but is kind of in line with the bottom of the window. So maybe I'll go right about there. And it looks like it needs to be turned just a little bit, about like this. There we go. Okay, so how are we doing there? Looks good. We just need to turn it in what? What is that? That's the y-axis, in the local y-axis. So let's press RY and we'll turn it RY again, and I'll kind of turn it so it I'm trying to line it up with the very edge of the cab here. And that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll move it out just a bit like this, RY again, and something like that. Okay, so we've got that. It looks like it's hollow, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll tab into edit mode and let's select this face and let's delete them. And then let's apply the scale with Control A, and let's go ahead and add a solidify modifier. Maybe I'll move this out just a bit like that. Add modifier, solidify, even thickness, and let's click and drag on this to kind of make it the right thickness. Maybe something like that. Okay, and I'll go ahead and click apply. So now we've got that piece. Now we just need to create one of these and connect it to it. It looks like it's got an odd twist to that. I'm not sure exactly how to do that, but we'll never know until we begin to try it. So let's go ahead and select this edge and move the cursor to it. And let's just create a polygon plane here. Shift A, mesh plane. And I'll scale this down. And it looks like, at least in this angle, the top of that platform is about right here. Let's see how that lines up over here. Yeah, our front and side views are a little bit off. We could maybe move that front view down a bit. Let's try that. I'll select the front view. And if we go to the object data panel again, we can maybe click and drag and hold the shift key down and move that down just a bit like this. So it kind of lines up with what we're doing here. I'll line it up with the roof of the vehicle. All right, so let's go back over here and see how we're doing. Well, it's still not quite there, but that's okay. We'll just kind of split the difference. And let's get that about right there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So now what we need to do is extrude this down on either side. So I think first of all, what I'm going to do is grab this side here. And I'm looking at this part right here. Let's see if we can see it over here. Yeah, we can see it a bit. So I'll go ahead and hit E and Z, and I'm going to pull down to about here. And then let's hit E and Z again, and I'm going to pull down to about here. And then this one can maybe go over here like this. And then on this other side, let's see what we can do here. It looks like we just need to hit E and Z and pull down. And then I think we can just hit S and Y and kind of just scale in and fit it right in here. Let's do that. Now we need to somehow bring it down and connect it to this piece here. And I think what we should do is just add a couple of edge loops in here and move it this way. Let's then grab this edge, and I just want to extrude it down just a bit and scale it in. And then it looks like maybe I could just turn it. So let's turn it here like this. And then extrude it in the x-axis. Let's go back to the global orientation. Yeah, that's still x. So let's hit E and X and go back in like this. Now what I want to do is extend this down. So let's go to the side view here, and I'll just hit E and enter and then hit G. And I kind of want to move this out like this and like this. So, okay, so now that it's in line with the vehicle, maybe what we can do is just extrude this down like this. So I'll hit E and just pull like this. Maybe we need to pull that back out. There we go. And maybe that's all we need. Maybe I can hit E and pull this out as well. So now I would need to do a little bit of point pulling to kind of get these things in line here. Kind of get these a little bit more lined up. Now, do we need to pull that up and get it connected to the actual box here? We may want to do that kind of like this. All right, so I think that's pretty good. There's always going to be some adjusting to do here and there, but I think I'll just move that in and put that right about in here. All right, so I think that's pretty good. We could probably go ahead and add a solidify modifier to that. Let's try that. I will apply the scale with Control A. And then let's come over to the modifiers panel and click solidify, even thickness. And let's go ahead and click and drag in the thickness field and see how we can do here. One thing we can do sometimes if we see this problem here where it's thicker on one side than another, sometimes if we turn on high quality normals, yeah, that kind of fixes that there. So now what we can do is put this in the proper place. The wider one seems to be over here on this side of the vehicle, and the shorter one that I just created seems to be over here. So what let's do is apply the solidify modifier here. Then I will move the 3D cursor to the center with Shift S1, and I'll move the origin to that 3D cursor, and let's go ahead and add a mirror modifier here. Now what let's do is apply that mirror modifier. I'll just click apply. Now if we tab into edit mode and say select one of these, let me go to the front view and wireframe, and then we select one of these here like this. Now we can drag that whole thing over and make it a little bit wider like that. Here like this. So just to give that slight differentiation between the two sides. Also, we need to move this. Let's go ahead and move the origin down to the 3D cursor. And then let's add a mirror modifier. It looks like we need to apply the rotation. So Control A and rotation. And there we go. So now those are on that side and this is on that side. Yeah. So there we go. So we've got some extra detail now with the handles and these pieces. What let's do is turn our attention to the platforms on the back here, and then we can just create one of the light fixtures and duplicate them and put them on all four. So that's coming up next.